From the Middle is very proud to be a founding member of Odd Pods Media. The episode was 178. The boys didn't know what in the holy heck they were going to talk about. And yet, they filled an hour. With what did they fill an hour? Well, they filled an hour with public bathroom etiquette questions, discussions around new flavors of Mountain Dew that taste like fruitcake. They broke down the trailer for A Christmas Story 2 and talked about homeopathy and the things that they're streaming. Kanye West, Shia LaBeouf, The Patient, and some other things. We hope you enjoy this episode. Do you know who we are? Do you know who we are? We're a podcast. We're three middle-class guys living in the middle chapters of our lives in the middle of America with points of view that fall somewhere in the middle. We're a comedy, culture, and entertainment and interview style podcast show, and we hope you enjoy. Goodbye.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
You know, sometimes we log in or we get together in our studio and we are chock full of interesting stories and fun questions and topical things to talk about. And sometimes we log in and we're like, hey guys, I don't know how we're going to fill a freaking hour. I got nothing.
I feel like we've been more prepared in recent months than we were when we first started this thing. I feel like when we first started this thing, we had like 3 great ideas, and those were like our first few episodes. And then after that, we just like sat around and talked for a while. Sometimes we had notes and sometimes we didn't. And often we had notes but ignored them. I feel confident that we can sit around and talk to each other and record it and see how it goes.
That's the spirit. Well, there's one text message that slipped through the cracks. We love hearing from our listeners, whether that be through voicemail, text message, comment on socials. And so I pose this Middler's question to you all. Public bathroom etiquette question. Off to a great start.
Our favorite topic.
Do you guys have thoughts on a guy watching a video with sound on while sitting in a stall doing their business? Parentheses, speakerphone, not headphones.
Right.
Follow-up question. If there's no problem with it, is it a first come, first serve thing? If a gentleman is already enjoying a show when I settle in for my own session, would it be wrong for me to fire up my own video to watch in the stall next to him? So is it wrong? And then how does it work when you might want to watch a video too?
What do you think, Dylan?
I feel like there's a lot of these questions require like always one or two more little bits of context. So I'm gonna approach some of those things from my point of view. Is it when you walked in as the person asking the question to the bathroom to somebody listening in a stall, were they the only person in the whole bathroom and they had volume playing off their phone? If so, I don't think I have a problem with that. If I'm very sure that I'm the only person in there and want to turn something up, I probably wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't have a problem with it. If you're at like if you're at Ohio Stadium on game day and there's like 400 guys trying to use a pee trough to like go to the bathroom and you're cranking like Black and Yellow because you just found it again on YouTube, that feels like a little much. You know what I mean? Like, also, if you want to come in and play your own music, I feel like you need to at least hope that it's a mostly quiet bathroom and let original noisy peer turn down their stuff for at least, you got to at least wait like 10 or 15 seconds to make sure they're done. Like at that point, it's almost like they're the driver in the car. It's their car radio. They're going to pick what they want. At that point, they control the bathroom, like while they have whatever turned up on their phone, it's kind of their car and their car radio. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think the polite thing to do at the very least would be to ask the person in the stall next to you what kind of music they're into.
Yeah.
And then acquiesce.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, but what if somebody says like, "Hey, man, you got any like Kenny Loggins' House at Pooh Corner?" Like, that's my soft jam, for the bathroom time. You know what I mean?
I need something soothing and relaxing.
Yeah. You got a little soft kitty from Big Bang Theory you can play for me. Like, I got a little rumbly tummy, from eating too much, and I kind of need something soft,
Yeah. You brought up what I don't think you were referring to this, but it made me think about it when you were talking about the stadium bathroom. Is that this might not only be a weird and awkward kind of etiquette question. It could also just simply be listen, there's 15 guys waiting to use these stalls, and you're sitting in there watching YouTube. You need to get your business over with and get out. There's that. But I know that that's not the heart of the question. And to answer the question, I think 99% of us would feel embarrassed if we were listening to something with volume and someone else walked in, and we would shut it off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's where I stand for me personally. And then the next question that is implied is how would I feel when I walk in? Kind of like Dylan, I don't think I would care too much, or at least I actually believe that I would be annoyed somehow, but I wouldn't exactly know why. And I can't explain it now either. Maybe it's just because they're not like me. They're not ashamed like I would be ashamed, and that angers me.
Well, let me bring up one more point that I think people could easily miss, and then we got to hear from Corey. At some point, you can look at or tell that person in the stall, if you want to ignore your own wife and children, go home. This isn't the place to do it. People need to use the bathroom. But there's a very real possibility they could be watching or listening to something that would be a spoiler for me. Or what happens if I'm now getting into like, dude, are you watching the new episode of Andor? Like, I haven't seen this yet. I don't know what Mon Mothma's going to do next, and I don't want to hear it on your phone. Like, there's a very real possibility I'm going to want to see what he's watching on his phone, and I think that's an important angle. You got to be careful you're not spoiling anything. People could be watching all kinds of stuff. What if they're watching Weird the Al Yankovic story on the Roku app, and it's a bit that I haven't heard yet, and I want to watch it on my own phone and not hear it through a bathroom stall? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're thinking of the angles that people don't usually think about. Good job, Dylan.
It's true. Corey,
I'm just shocked that you're not furious that someone would have the audacity to be watching a video in a bathroom stall. My angle is like, go somewhere. You're making, this is not your personal bathroom where you could do that. You're taking too much time to do this. You're getting too comfortable in there. And then to have the audacity to play a video that we all have to listen to. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, when people take phone calls, you could go, this could be a really urgent phone call, and they could have had a really urgent bathroom need. But this feels like just leisure. Like you're just chilling now. And I think it's wrong in every possible way. How dare
you haven't had a bowel movement where you like had no choice but to sit there for a while and you got bored?
To turn sound on that other people have to hear?
Well, I mean, and that's the point, is the sound.
Quietly play Hill Climb like a like a grown man should.
Pull up your Checkers app you haven't opened in 3 months and just finish your game. Look, long form TV watching and music listening on phones does baffle me a little bit. But Quibi very quickly proved that people don't want for short form bathroom length content on their phone. They want to watch whole episodes of Seinfeld. So if that's what the people want, I can't object to it. I don't have to partake. I can just wait till I get home and watch it on a TV like a human. But
I know there's a lot streaming. There's a lot of good shows and movies out there. There's a lot of podcasts to catch up on. But man, if you can't squeeze it in a different time when you're not squeezing it out, then we have a different conversation to have.
Is this like the stand-up bit for microwaving Pop-Tarts? Like, if you don't have 60 seconds to toast your Pop-Tarts and you only have 3, you might want to loosen up your schedule a little bit. If you've got so many shows that you've got to watch it in between pooping, poop breaks, like you might want to clear up your TV viewing schedule.
Clear up your schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
That just seems so audacious to me. Like, so, I don't know, center of the universe to have the Stones to just start playing videos in a public bathroom. I can't get over it. Anyway, there's your answer.
Great question, by the way. Keep the food and bathroom stuff coming.
That is what we like.
We love etiquette questions. Speaking of drinks, I have something.
What?
I have to ask. I said food and drinks content.
Okay. Got it.
The bathroom,
yeah.
the food and bathroom etiquette, and drinks was implied. I mean, some people, I guess, maybe are into that. Anyways, I have something. I think I found something I wouldn't be willing to try. We have a text thread where we talk about all kinds of stuff. And right now I'm very into both Pepsi and Dr. Pepper have soda shop, cream soda shop, whatever type flavors out right now that are delicious and put their vanilla counterparts to shame. Don't ever buy vanilla soda trash again. If you're going to get something, get the new cream soda shop versions of Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. You'll thank me later. I was at Target and I was very excited to go see, as I usually am, what kind of special drinks. I like trying different stuff. The Rocks energy drink right now, Zoa, is one of my favorites. Sometimes there's like Celsius and Alani. Those are like some new healthier energy drinks. What kind of unique sodas are at the store? And I saw something, I don't know, I never do the screen share, but I'm going to do screen share on this. I saw something I'm pretty sure I wouldn't try. I was very excited the other day because Target had Code Red 0.
Yeah, nice.
Which I freaking love. I'm total hill jack and I'll drink Mountain Dew, till the day I die. And I love Code Red. But when I got down to the Pepsi Mountain Dew section, I saw Mountain Dew Fruit Quake, which is a holiday themed Mountain Dew fruit cake flavored Mountain Dew. And it's rare for me to say, I think Taco Bell or I think Mountain Dew has taken it too far. But I actually do think they've taken it too far. Now, I only didn't buy some because I just try to drink diet or 0, whatever, for less sugar, and they didn't have it. I probably would have bought it just out of pure morbid curiosity. But it raises the question, even in the artwork, and if you're not on our YouTube channel, you'll have to Google it, or you should really just follow us and subscribe and hit the dingy bell on our YouTube channel. In the artwork, they use like a monster truck, and the tires are like the breading color of a traditional fruitcake with the little ugly jelly things sticking out of the tires like some weird redneck Candyland board game. And it just looks gross even on the box. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can try to find it in 0. Begs the question, have you guys had the new cream soda shop flavors? And would you try Mountain Dew Fruit Quake? Were you given a sip or bottle or can?
100% yes. Not even a question.
Yeah, absolutely. I've tried. I want to try it right now.
I don't know. It feels too. It feels too.
Not
far.
even to try it. Come on, you'd try it. If I got a 12-pack right now,
I don't know.
You'd pop
That
one. You would. You would pop one open and try
you.
it.
This is borderline. This isn't. Am I a curious person and would I like to try new things? This actually starts to cross the line of foods that I think are gross and might make me sick if I try it. Like I don't. I really loathe pretzels. The idea of eating a pretzel makes me kind of gag. Like that's kind of this isn't like oh, I wonder if this flavor is good. Sip. Nah, not really, not my thing. I actually think this might make me gag. Like how it tastes in my head before I've tried it might be too much.
Have you ever had fruitcake?
I feel like I've tried different things over the years, like different recipes and fruitcake flavored things.
Have you?
We've talked about it. You're into fruitcake, right?
Me?
Yeah. Don't you like fruitcake?
No, I've never had fruitcake, and it's a trope that it's awful. But if I'm being honest, like I've never had it.
I don't know. I think I'm sure that I've had it. I don't know. I don't know.
I think in that one image,
yeah.
in the middle, I think they're making a fruitcake with the Mountain Dew fruit.
I think so too. And I think that's a winner.
Yeah. I mean, let us know if you've had it or if you can figure out where to find it. Maybe next time we're in studio, we'll try it. Maybe that's a thing. This is very Christmas adjacent by the look of this box. So we've got plenty of time to try this by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And
preferably if we could find like the 20-ounce bottles or something, and so that we don't have to like, in this economy, blow $9 on a 12-pack.
In this economy.
Who's to blame for that?
Daddy's not made of money.
That's awesome. All right. Well, so there you go. Mountain Dew Fruit Quake.
Hey, does it break the YouTube terms and conditions if we discuss a trailer? If we play a trailer and are discussing it, are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, we're allowed to do that.
Okay, so then I think it's a perfect segue. We should watch, if you guys haven't seen it, we should watch the trailer for A Christmas Story 2.
Sure, yeah.
Did you guys even know this was a thing?
I did.
And have you seen the trailer?
I have.
Okay.
I have too.
Okay, so I have not. This is my first time. I'll share my screen.
Yeah,
we'll play the sound loudly.
Yeah, for anyone that likes to send stuff, as much as I can't always catch up on shows quickly, I do love to watch trailers. And so like Ant-Man Quantumania is like the day that trailer dropped, I was all about I watched it several times. So go ahead.
Okay, it says screen sharing paused. Hold on, trying again. Can you guys see?
Yes, sir.
Does it say click to exit full screen?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, that's a problem. Okay, I'll go back to regular size mode. Okay, can you see now?
It's a white screen.
Okay, try one more
thing. To the
thing.
podcasters, we sound like boomers trying to figure out Zoom.
Yeah.
How do you get the thing to do the thing? Okay, good.
Yep.
One day you're playing kick the can with kids named Flick and Schwartz.
Yeah.
The next thing
nostalgia clips.
You find a double. Well, your old man. Right, Chile. He was the best.
Now that the mom actor is different, right? That's not the original.
Wonderful Christmas. That would make your father so
Oh yeah,
happy.
that's not her. That's not the original mom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his eyes are still remarkably blue. Like,
and now
go ahead.
His eyes are still remarkably blue, which is crazy.
So crazy.
To me, suggest you start drinking and don't stop till New Year's. Kids, who wants to go see Santa?
This is amazing. I'm ready to go. We will meet you right here when you're done.
Don't let him kick you in the face.
Huh?
It's the
It's not labor if we don't pay you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So wait, the original Christmas Story takes place in 1940, right? So this would be around the 70s. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense with like the TV and the decor.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
And the sideburns.
And it's always so easy.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't mean blessings leave off.
Man, I wonder how big of a check they wrote him to do this movie.
What else has he done?
He was an elf.
Yeah, is that
Okay.
I think that's the original kid actor.
Poodle.
Slowly, I could feel the Christmas ember beginning to glow again.
Oh, slapstick antics.
Yeah.
We triple dog dare you. All right.
Yeah.
Thoughts. Let's
Your thoughts, man. This is your first time watching it.
wow, yeah. Who's the actor that plays Ralphie? I'm blanking on his name right now.
I'm pretty sure he's just called the actor who played Ralphie.
I'll look it up.
Which is why I'm pretty sure that all they had to do is cover a couple grocery bills.
Oh, he's like
Peter Billingsley.
Peter Billingsley. He's like legit good friends with like John Favreau and those guys. I don't know. I mean, there's no way it can be as good, right? First of all, how do we feel about Christmas Story? Some people loathe it because they play it for 24 hours on TBS on Christmas Day and blah blah blah. It's like a classic, right? You got to watch it. I don't know. It seems fine.
It will probably be fine. That's probably a perfectly fine sequel. Doesn't live up to the original. How is it going to? But I think if they don't at least TBS and TNT don't at least eventually rotate this one into the 24 hours of A Christmas Story and just let them play like original sequel, I think they've really missed out. Because I know, especially when that was kind of a new thing on cable, which is totally foreign now. I don't know if they even still do it, but like they would literally start that on Christmas Eve at like 6 p.m. and play it Christmas Day until like 6 p.m. or longer. And there were several years when that was new that we had it on like,
oh yeah,
pretty much all day. It was just like, because why not? It was a Christmassy thing playing in the background. Now they just need to do 48 hours and let both of them play.
You know what this feels like to me? It feels like when they redid Vacation, but they made Ed Helms the lead as the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you like the first one, you have to watch it. But you kind of go in with such a low bar, knowing it's not gonna live up to, because nostalgia is a thing, right? I mean, so it can never be as good as what you are familiar with and love. But yeah, it'll be fine. I'll watch it.
And I think it's for like, not only if you necessarily liked it, but if you're, one of the people who like watch it every year and are intimately familiar with it, which films like A Christmas Story is like that. There's a lot of people who know that movie inside and out. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is going to be a sequel where you have to have that level of intimacy to understand probably half of the jokes in the new movie. Like I watched Christmas Story once and it was okay. I didn't particularly like it. But that's been, and then I've seen like bits and pieces here and there on accident because it's easy to do. And so that's sort of my familiarity with it. And I'd be afraid, like even watching the trailer, there are parts that I'm like, I can tell that they're like trying to harken back to something, but I don't quite get it. Is how I feel about that. So I would probably like be compelled. I would watch it if I had friends going to see it or something. I'd go watch it, but I'd be compelled to like go back and study first.
It's interesting that that's your level of experience with it, because it's such like because you're such a Christmas guy, mm-hmm. and because of how many, to this day, before this movie was even like conceived of, how many still products are sold with references to Christmas Story. You can buy leg lamps and you can buy pink bunny costumes and Red Ryder BB guns and all the ornaments. It's got such like a cult following of a Christmas movie.
I don't have any of that. What I do have is Christmas Vacation stuff.
Nice.
See, what I was just thinking was, although Christmas Vacation already started out significantly funnier than A Christmas Story, I do think, to give A Christmas Story a little credit, the more I even watch a Christmas Vacation as an adult, the funnier it still gets to me.
Yeah.
I think A Christmas Story is that way. It might almost be less funny the first time, and then as you watch it as you get older and you get more tired or you've had a few drinks, the sort of movie gets funnier and funnier throughout the day, until you just hit the point where you're like, all right, turn the Grinch or something else on. So maybe that works in its favor. Maybe some people just find that as the day goes on and the eggnog is flowing, the movie gets better and better.
Maybe I should give it a second shot.
Maybe get out your moose cup from Christmas Vacation, get out some good eggnog, and just keep drinking that while you're watching and see how you feel.
Let's say this is terrible and that you loved the first. And I always wonder this. Does it taint your view of the first to have the knowledge that they made a second that was terrible?
Well, based on Star Wars, I found people to be incredibly forgiving when things made and instantly add to what's already established. And even if they don't like it, I find them to be incredibly forgiving and kind about the content that's not their favorite. So if it's anything like Star Wars, I think we're in for a real treat either way.
Says the guy wearing an episode 1 hat.
Yeah. Which ironically, I was just discussing with a listener and a friend, and we were talking about the new Andor series and this is a quick comment, and how without almost any action, it's an incredibly interesting kind of political drama. And I said, and my remark back to him was, maybe George Lucas, was on to something with the world building of the prequels, but didn't quite have the writing to flesh out everything, or maybe even the amount of time, because Andor is going to be 2 seasons, didn't quite have the amount of time or the writing to flesh out what we've now very clearly seen can be really interesting political drama happening within the Star Wars universe. That's a whole other discussion for another time. I feel like we should take a quick break, hear from one of our friends in the Odd Pods Media Network, and come right back to more discussion.
Hey, this is Russ.
This is Kyle.
This is Michelle.
From the Infectious Groove Podcast. Join us every Monday for the most fun you can have with a music podcast. The Infectious Groove Podcast uses a positive and fun approach as we take time every week to share our jammy jams, then dig into a thought-provoking topic discussing all decades and genres of music. You can find the Infectious Groove Podcast on all major podcast platforms, or you can head to infectiousgroovepodcast.com to find us there and subscribe. We might have a controversial opinion here or there, but we always have fun with it.
Oh, I'm sure I'll say something dumb.
Subscribe to the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
So back to the question, if they made Elf 2 next year, if Jon Favreau made Elf 2 and it was just terrible. They did it with Anchorman, I thought. Like they made it, and why am I picking Will Ferrell movies? Anyway,
they've tried to make Elf 2.
Does it taint your view of the first, knowing that the original creator tried and failed again? Or do you just go, I'm just going to pretend, I'm going to lop that off, pretend like that didn't even happen, and just keep enjoying the first?
That's tough. I think most people probably do the latter, and if Elf 2 came out and was terrible, they would just only ever some people wouldn't be able to forget. Star Wars has shown us that in a serious way. Like, some people are very hurt by the fact that they feel like Luke Skywalker was, quote, ruined, and they can't quite forget what they saw unfold in the sequels. I think most people would just forget and would just they're not that into the thing that they can't just forget and enjoy the one that they did like.
So they just opt to live in a fool's paradise from there on out and just go,
Yeah.
no, not my president, not my elf too.
Right.
But the problem occurs is that you can't forget it because it's pop culture and it's going to come up and people are going to ask you your opinion because they know that you love the first one. And now you have to start answering questions. And then next thing you know, you've developed within your mind that I am team original. And then there's everybody else. And now I have to defend my position all the time.
I think
that's how that evolves.
I think fortunately, if we're talking Elf 2 and not something else, I think fortunately, if it's not Star Wars or Star Trek or Marvel or DC, I think most people will just let you be a fan of Elf 1 by itself. I don't think the Elf cinematic universe is as large or as looming for people to discuss. So you'd probably be safe.
Is the same true for a reboot? So Kendall, let's say they reboot Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, like I'm fine with it. I really am. I don't know. I consider myself a relatively level-headed, not necessarily centrist. I don't like to use the word centrist. I like to just point out that like it takes a lot to like actually make me angry. And so if a new Lost Boys comes out and I hate it and people talk to me about it because they know that it's one of my favorite movies of all time, like I'll give them my opinion, but I don't feel the need to like do a screen rant over it, you know?
I mean, it's not like somebody's trying to take Lord of the Rings and make Galadriel a warrior or something, you know? They're not doing that. Nothing that crazy.
Yeah.
You know, no one would try to reboot Lord of the Rings with something as absurd as warrior Galadriel.
Okay, looks like there's a new Lost Boys in
there
the
it
works.
is. There it is.
So anyway, we could look up that later. Look up that later? Look that up later. That was poor grammar. I sincerely apologize.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
Good times indeed. So shifting gears here.
Yeah, shift away, Kendall.
I have something in front of me here. How do you guys feel about like home remedy stuff? Generally speaking, are you into homeopathy things or into like homemade concoctions for what ails you? Do you guys try that stuff, or are you just like, you know what, I'm gonna trust what the pharmacy has?
If into it means, does it make me feel good and all nostalgic inside that my mom or grandma or a relative used to make me this when I felt sick, then yes, I'm into it. If it means, do I think it's better than or as effective as good old fashioned medicines?
It's not a trap. It's not a trap question. I'm not trying to get anybody here.
Well, yeah, it's funny. Like this, I think this is an opportunity for us to be a little revealing with, but like as a we grew up, Corey and I were brothers for anyone tuning in the first time. And our grandfather was a chiropractor. Now, to us, that seemed like a normal medical doctor type position. And you don't realize till you grow up and you get out into the world that there are a significant number of people that think that chiropractics just really aren't effective. They don't really do anything. There's very minimal actual effect that they have on the body. It's contested to a degree within, and although the health insurance industry has accepted chiropractors as a coverable medical procedure, you know, if you want to start going to your chiropractor, most insurance companies will cover it. It's still kind of contested to a degree. Most, you know, some people would say like, just go to a physical therapist if you're having back pain or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's interesting because we can say like, that was a very normal thing for us. I don't think that would be like home remedy, but it does feel a little more, sometimes depending on who you're talking to, it does feel a little more like, what's the pin cushion, the needle therapy.
Oh, acupuncture.
Yeah, it does feel depending on who you're talking to, they can almost make it out to be like an acupuncture, something like that. Like, you know, well, that's weird, you know. And so I don't find like going to the chiropractor weird. Most of the people I know don't. But I do find occasionally that person that's like, well, they don't do anything. There's nothing to that. And there's also, to clarify, chiropractors that some will just, hey, I'm going to help your back if you've got some pain and then some might claim to heal all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so there is within the community, there's a whole variety of types of chiropractors too, that might even sell different kinds of products and things at their offices. And so I think that was an interesting experience, that like something I didn't realize till I got older, that there were people out there that have had much different experiences than maybe we did, which was a very wholesome, good experience.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was going to say, like, it seems to me that there's two different worlds of chiropractors. And there's the one world, like you said, that's like, I might be able to help you out with like your aching back or your sprained ankle or whatever by doing some manipulation. And then there's the guys that are like, oh, you have a common cold? Let me try this with your toes. Those guys and gals. And or they have their own line of vitamin supplements to sell you, or whatever it is. And and I feel like in the chiropractic community, type A should be really mad that type B exists. It is giving them all a bad name, because they're not like, anyway.
Are we way off base from your question now?
Oh, we are, but I enjoy the chiropractor discussion for this reason. Again, because I fall somewhere in the middle on it. I'm not like, because I'm aware, like, what do you think about going to see a chiropractor? And I stop and like, what kind of chiropractor are we talking about?
Look, if we want to discuss whether chicken noodle soup is good for my soul, we can talk about that, okay? But I felt like that was a very real practical thing that kind of it swirled around your question.
I love it. I love it.
Corey, you were smirking the whole time. Did I walk the line carefully there?
You walked it very well. I just remember, again, like, you don't know that something is contested sometimes until you just, like, when I went out in the world, I was like, man, I think I got a rib that's out, because every time I take a deep breath, like, it really, really hurts. And I mentioned to a friend that I was going to be going to a chiropractor, and he's like, pseudoscience, snake oil. And you're just like, what? No, it really helps. He's like, you've bought into the lies. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess I'm an idiot. I'll just keep having pain when I breathe.
Well, I mean, or like, if you have a problem with a rib, an x-ray might be a good idea. Do chiropractors do x-rays?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Yeah. Well, there you go.
A lot of them. I
was going to say, wouldn't that be like step one? Let's take a look at that rib.
For a small fee. And if you just rub this oil on it. No. Anyway.
Okay, so back to your question then.
Back to my question.
Back off chiropractors. Do you have some common examples that we can discuss? Maybe I've grown up to be a 30-something-year-old man who's doing weird at-home stuff that other people, that I don't even realize is abnormal. And so
I don't know.
I need examples.
Well, I mean, there are certain things, right, that, like, if you have a common cold, like vitamin C, it's too late to stock your body up on vitamin C. Like, vitamin C is not going to cure the cold that you currently have.
Okay. So don't take emergency once you're already sick. Take it just throughout the winter.
Well, and here's the thing. And vitamin C, I'm not a doctor. People look this up, but my understanding
is, talk to your chiropractor about it.
Talk to your chiropractor about vitamin supplements. Is that your body takes what it needs, and then you pee out the rest. And that, generally speaking, in America, we don't have a vitamin C problem. Okay. We have other vitamin deficiencies, but C is not really on the list. So you probably are okay on vitamin C. And if you were trying to supplement to get more vitamin C, it wouldn't actually be helpful. There's nothing wrong with doing it. There's nothing wrong with making sure that you have enough vitamin C by taking vitamin C. But that's my very basic understanding on vitamin C in particular. However, what I have in front of me right now, I have a cold. I've been coughing throughout the episode, if you guys haven't been noticing, the past few days. And today really all day, I just felt like hell. And this is where I do feel like sometimes it's worth, like, if it doesn't hurt, just like with vitamin C, if it doesn't hurt, you might as well just throw it at it and go for it. I made for the first time before we started recording a hot toddy.
I was going to use this example.
I've never had one before. This apparently there's different ways to make a hot toddy. Mine is just hot water and bourbon, Angel's Envy. Mike's hot honey, and then lemon juice, and then I sprinkled a little cinnamon and a little bit of dried ginger in there as well. And I gotta say, I don't think that it's working. And it kind of just makes me, it tastes okay, it's fine, but I like bourbon, and I kind of feel like I just had bourbon without the rest of the stuff right now. I feel like I ruined a dram of bourbon is kind of how I feel at the moment.
But if it makes your chest warm and it throats your coat on the way down and you're also drinking, who really cares?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I got poison ivy really badly as a kid. And I remember we're like, we got just the thing. And you make some oatmeal and splotch it all over your body. And you let the oatmeal sit on the rashes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these weird things where you're just like, don't they just have like a cream or something I can put on? As you're like sitting in oatmeal, getting a little hungry.
Mom, is it okay if I eat my rash oatmeal? I'm hungry.
I've been Googling like bizarre and outrageous and comical home remedies. Some of these are just like, let a rattlesnake bite you to cure rheumatism.
Oh boy.
And by the way, Kendall, no one can hear you coughing. My breathing into the mic does that for you. It covers that really nicely. I'm really curious what people find out. I cannot shake this case of scurvy for the life of me. So if people have anything they can think of, that would be great.
What you need to do is go on an all raw red meat diet.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Just that nonstop and Mountain Dew fruit quake will get rid of all my ails.
No, the Mountain Dew has too many chemicals.
I don't know. I'm sure I do something, but now I can't think of anything. I don't know.
I mean, there's some stuff that's real. Like, I mean, there's plenty of it that's real. I don't know anything about the oatmeal thing. Could be legit. I've heard of that too, but I do know that if you have congestion, that swapping from like a warm atmosphere to shocking yourself into a cold atmosphere, I know that is actually helpful.
What about is it true the reason like restaurants serve peppermint, like peppermint, is that can help settle a stomach after a meal? Is that a thing?
Oh, that I don't know.
That's not a home. I mean, I don't know if that you call that a home.
I've certainly heard that mint is good for the belly.
Yeah,
I've heard that about ginger too.
With inflation, restaurants don't have mints anymore, but back when they used to have mints.
Here's just a few, and this is just an article, and who knows how legitimate any of them are. It might just be for comedic purposes.
Yeah, consult your chiropractor before you.
Yeah, of course. Got a headache? Cut an uncooked potato in half and rub it on your forehead. Have a bleeding cut? Gather up a collection of spider webs and vigorously pack the wound with them. It will surely stop the bleeding. Another use of spider webs, if you're curious, if you find yourself coming home from Africa with malaria, chew them up and swallow them. Toenail fungus? Don't worry. You can just soak your toes in some Listerine.
That's a good example of one that seems totally harmless. That like if I saw that, I'd maybe try that.
Yeah.
Like how much can Listerine hurt my foot? Right. I could see trying that one.
Friends taught us what to do if you get stung by a jellyfish. Just track someone down and have them urinate on you. Bad case of the runs? No worries. Drink a packet of powdered Jell-O and chase it down with a cup of hot water.
And put yourself in a cooler.
The concoction will stick, in quotes, to your intestines and slow the process down.
That is amazing. Poop
Did that come from like Funny or Die or?
No, this is like scrubsmag.com.
Wow.
And
I'm gonna need to bring the physician's assistants back and run that list by them and see how they feel.
Yeah.
Here you go, Dylan, for next summer. Severe sunburn, mix together a combination of yellow mustard and wait for it, Vagisil.
Oh. Okay.
Actually, really what I found that's super helpful. Just don't leave your house is super good. Works every single time. I never get a sunburn. So
yeah, here's one more. If you got some warts, if you were peed on by a frog and you have warts, cover them with duct tape. Change out the duct tape every couple of days. You're depriving the wart of oxygen, thereby killing the virus. So if you have a home remedy that you believe might be unique, let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
The alternative of this
we may or may not touch it.
The alternative of this is we could say remedies that don't go to anything, and then you could try to pick the ailment that you think would work on. So you could start with the old, what would rub some dirt on it fix? Well, if you got a little bit of a scratch or a scrape, rub some dirt on it. That'll help stop it.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun game.
There you go.
Homework for next time.
So I totally unrelated. I have I'm wearing it now, actually. I have a Star Wars t-shirt that is it's a play off of the Beatles album where they're walking across the street and Darth Vader is at the front and then there's 3 stormtroopers behind him. And it's sort of a walkway, but it's in like a Death Star or a ship of some kind. And my daughter is 4.5 going on 5, and she just looks at it and very casually says, Darth Vader's the line leader.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, that's significantly deeper than you realize. Palps is the teacher, and Darth Vader is just unknowingly the line leader at the front. Those very astute. Good observation by my daughter.
Palps, that's awesome. I'm never not calling him Palps now.
Palps, yeah. Mr. Palps, the teacher. Darth Vader is just the line leader at the front of a bunch of Imperial officers and stormtroopers. So, anyways, good job, Finners.
Yeah. I've always felt like when I hear Palpatine, I think of saltines, and I feel like there needs to be Palpatine's crackers. I want to crumble up some Palpatines and put them in my soup.
I mean, I've seen them put slap Chewbacca on a bag of mandarin oranges. So why not, Star Wars?
Yeah.
Let's come up with some of these things that you should actually be marketing that would feel more clever.
Yeah. I feel like saltines are in dire need of a revival.
Yeah. Interesting.
I love saltines.
Speaking of snacks, you remember something I'm watching through Seinfeld right now. You remember the episode of Seinfeld, or at least the reference to George starts eating Snickers with a knife and a fork, right?
Yeah.
I was reminded, and I saw a video of it, and I hope it was fake. Somebody was at a Starbucks at a counter, and their cup is sitting on the counter. Their laptop is sitting in front of them. They're reading off the laptops, and their hands are in front of them holding a banana. The top third of the banana has been cut off, and they have an ice cream spoon, and they're scooping banana out of the top with the peel on the banana, and they're scooping down in and around. And I just thought, I've not seen anything so absurd since the Snickers episode of Seinfeld. This guy has to be doing this as a joke. There's no. And at one point, he even sort of takes the this is an ice cream spoon, so the very long, very small spoon shape at the end, barely wider than the actual width of the spoon handle. And he takes a scoop and actually runs the back of it like across his tongue because he wants to just make sure he gets the tiniest bit of banana off the back of the spoon. And I thought, no, this is a
No.
gag. This guy's doing this as a gag.
Has to be.
I've never in my life. It was so funny.
Man. Or it would be so easy for someone to change that man's life for the better right then and there. Because everybody is too scared to go up to him because they assume that, but maybe no one's ever taught him and he's never watched TV or Curious George.
Maybe.
I bet a vast majority of our listeners right now are eating bananas incorrectly.
Mm. Could be. Speaking of eating bananas incorrectly, I think I did say, man, look how deep the rabbit hole goes.
There was more to that.
Yeah, it keeps going.
I'm sorry. I thought that was just the end of the joke, please.
And it was brought to my attention when I was in a tropical climate, and people who eat bananas and pick bananas from trees regularly showed me that you peel from the stubby end. You don't peel from the taller stem, because if you do it that other way, then you don't get, then the strings come off with it as you peel, as opposed to you then having to go back and still pull the little strings.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's been like a popular life hack recently. And it's been one that I've looked at and I'm like, I've never had a problem peeling a banana. Like,
and to say someone's doing it wrong is very strong language.
This is no, I'm willing to try it. I eat bananas regularly, and but it's never actually crossed my mind in the moment that a banana is in my hand to try it the other way. One of these days I will, and maybe I'll find out. But
more important than that, grab a sundae ice cream sundae spoon and try that method out and see if you can really tell me if you like it better.
Maybe it tastes different. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, they always talk about how close we are genetically to monkeys. When I saw a video of a monkey peel a banana, and even the monkey pulled the little strings off, I thought, okay, I see it now. I see it. Yeah. Even the monkey.
I feel like I'm also like, my bananas can't be they can't have any green on them whatsoever, even at the stem. Like, very ripe banana is the way that I go. And maybe there's something about that. Like, I don't eat a banana until it's very ripe. And I feel like at that point, like, you don't, like, strings aren't a thing. Like, they're not, I don't have a problem with having to take strings off of my bananas.
Yeah. I can't even get on board when they're too green that they're like almost crunchy. And some people prefer them that way. I find that bizarre.
Me too.
How would you scoop it with a spoon that way?
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be too hard.
Too firm. All right, I'm out. I've talked about it way too much.
Geez. Hey, I watched something.
What'd you watch, K-Dog?
I watched, well, some things that we've already talked about. But have we talked about The Patient, Steve Carell?
We have, yeah.
Okay, I thought we did.
I think you had, like, we're kind of in the middle of that show when we spoke about it last.
Gotcha. Maybe. But yeah, just finished up The Patient.
How did it? Were you pleased with how it ended?
No. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
It was a dissonant ending, and I felt like it could have been. It's one of those where they had a good ending, and then they added a final scene that was just like, why did you do that? Like, that doesn't excite me about anything to come in the future necessarily. Maybe they'll make something in the future. I have no idea if that's in the works or not. And maybe I'll end up liking it. But as of right now, I'm like, that doesn't bear much onto the story, I don't think, or maybe I'm not looking into it deep enough.
Yeah, let me represent the ignorant audience, because I'm mostly ignorant. Steve Carell new Hulu series. Is it on Hulu?
It's on Hulu. Steve Carell. It is not a comedy whatsoever. It's a very dark drama.
This is not him burning his foot on a George Foreman grill and he's a patient.
This is a thriller, and he's been taken captive by a serial killer.
Okay. I might have seen the trailer. Okay.
It's I mean, I know it's probably overstated every time that a known comedy actor does something serious and does it well, but he really plays the drama character very well, and you forget that it's Steve Carell, the comedy actor that you're used to. He does a wonderful job.
Nice.
Recommend it, and if you're willing to stop yourself about 5 minutes before the end of the last episode.
Anything else you've been watching?
I think since I've talked about stuff, I finished Oracle. We talked about me while I was in the middle of Oracle, and my wife and I watched Only Murders in the Building, the second season of that.
How great was that?
That was fun.
Another great season, right?
That is just fun.
And the Paul Rudd.
Even then, I accidentally just did a little Martin Short right there. That was just fun. Yeah,
the Paul Rudd cameo, right?
A little Paul Rudd.
Fun time.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, Sherry and I just started a new show tonight. It is not often that we find a show that we can both agree on, but The Mole on Netflix pulled us in. It just looked interesting. It's a reality game show. One of the contestants is in on it and trying to sabotage the contestants from winning money. It's gotten quite a bit of popularity on there, so it was recommended to both of us. So we're like, what the heck? We're 2 episodes in. I watched a very fascinating interview with Shia LaBeouf talking with John Bernthal from Walking Dead and Punisher, his podcast, Real Ones. It is very, very raw, and Shia talks about like the crazy life that he's lived, and he's found God, and he's talking about changing his life, and it's just wow. It was a lot, but very interesting and good. And then I still don't know how I feel about Kanye West. I don't know if he's a headline monger, creative genius who's just always finagling his way into the top of every newspaper, or if he's actually losing his mind. But I feel like it's got to be one end of that spectrum and not somewhere in the middle, which is very anti from the middle of us to say. But he just fascinates me because I don't know how to take him, and I'm furious that we are so fascinated with him. But by being curious about why we're fascinated with him, I'm adding clicks. So I'm still going to watch. He did a very long form interview with Lex Friedman after he made all the anti-Semitic comments, or did he? So it's just been interesting. He's been in the news so much recently. I'm like, what is happening with this person? But then sometimes you hear him talk and you're like, okay, that point kind of made sense. Like, he doesn't seem that too far gone. Do you guys have, without getting political, do you guys have thoughts on Ye?
I have paid so little attention to Kanye West. I don't know that I've intentionally listened to any of his music since college. I'm so far out of the loop. I'll hear about, like, the Taylor Swift thing where he ran up and whatever, and then I'll hear about supposedly him saying something that's bad. I have no idea about any of it. I understand people's fascination because there's some legitimacy to the quality from outside looking in. There's some legitimacy to the quality of the music that he makes. So people are genuinely fascinated by him as an artist, but then don't know how to take this whole other personality. And you can say the same thing about somebody like Tom Cruise, like, oh, he makes really engaging movies, but he's got this whole other thing going on. But like, Tom Cruise is buttoned up about his crazy, and Kanye West is just not. And so it's very possible that Kanye West is both crazy and also in some ways a genius at some of what he does creatively, and is both of those at the same time. And and I don't even try to follow him, but if it's true that he is like off and on medication, it's very possible that those things like come and go. And so I don't know. I probably I don't feel bad for him in the sense that he's worth tons of money and could get help if he needed it or wanted it. But I feel bad in the sense that like I don't know if he even knows what he is or what he's doing part of the time. Like it's wild. It's wild.
You know, it's first of all, Tom Cruise has had some public moments, not like Charlie Sheen moments.
Sure.
But there's that famous Ellen thing where he flipped out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kanye, I feel like Kanye is one of those figures where he rubs some people the wrong way and a lot of people the wrong way. And it makes him so easy to like, he doesn't help himself. I'll put it that way when it comes to his public image in the eyes of some people. And I don't know if that's because he just doesn't care or because he's incapable, or what it is. And so like you hear about how crazy nuts he is. And you hear about these interpretations of things that go on. The fact of the matter is, first of all, to point out, I don't know the guy. But to Corey's point, like when you watch the sit down interviews and you hear him speak, sometimes there's a little bit of nuts in there. I do think he has a big ego. But other than that, not any more than than any celebrity with his level of success. But other than that, like he seems like a pretty sane and rational guy when you listen to him. I just don't always agree with everything he's saying. But like if I were to judge Kanye West on interviews that I've seen of Kanye West, I would not think that he's insane whatsoever. I would think he's a perfectly normal, well thought, well-spoken guy, who I disagree with on some things because he goes over the edge a little bit on some stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to take of him either. I do think he is a creative genius. And so I do respect him for that. And as weird as some of the stuff that he tries creatively might be, he has the cojones to try to create his own media player that you have to buy with, and it makes you interact with the album in a different way. And that was his vision for that album. And so that's the only way you can listen to it. Like he's the only kind of guy that'll do that. Right. That means that his album isn't going to get listened to very much, but he'll stick to that. So yeah, Kanye, yeah. I think he's interesting. I don't think he's probably I think if he was as crazy as everyone says he is, like he'd be homeless by now, and he's not. Like, yeah, it keeps coming up how crazy he is, and he keeps being successful. So
yeah, the point you made about he doesn't help himself reminded me of like perhaps you had a friend when you were in grade school, junior high, high school that was like really infatuated with the girl and tried to date that girl, and then he'd be like, well, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? And then it's like, you're doing it right now.
Yeah
the thing that's making it impossible for me to date you is the thing you're doing, the clingy weird behavior. Like that's Kanye in a lot of his tweets and some of his interviews. But then you watch like the Joe Rogan one that was like 2 or 3 hours, and you're like, there was only maybe 1 or 2 things in there that I was like, that was weird. Everything else was like a pretty straightforward, great interview. So I don't know, the White Lives Matter shirt and all this stuff that he chooses to do. It's like, are you just trying to stir pots? Like, do you just like to be a provocateur in that way? What are you doing? Is there like a clever angle that I'm so dumb that I don't see behind that? Like, it's a lot. Anyway, So that's what I've been watching. Hey, in an episode where we didn't know what we were going to talk about, I think we filled an hour with some pretty interesting. We laughed a lot. We figured it out. We laughed a lot. We talked about bathroom etiquette. Feels like a win. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to shop from our sponsor, Artius Man, for your men's grooming products. That would be awesome. That's artiusman.com, ARTIUSMAN.com. Use promo code The Middle. That's The Middle, all caps, at checkout to receive 25% off of your first order. And all subsequent orders will be tied to us. It helps them, helps you, and we'd really appreciate it. Leave a comment, rate, review, tell a friend, all the things, and stay tuned to all of our socials. We've got some new shows in Odd Pods Media that we're really excited about, and some fun things happening next week. Episodes drop every Wednesday. We love you guys. Be kind.